What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and if you want to make sure that this guy regrets losing you, guaranteed, you need to watch this entire video. We are going to go into detail not only the male psychology on what he's thinking after the decision of pulling away, but also coming back and what you need to do. Okay, so let's jump right into this. First off, I think it's very important to understand the 4 stages a man goes through. This is going to make this whole video easier. So the first stage is the initial pull away, the initial mindset he's in that is evidence-based on what made him pull away. The second one is his experience with that decision. The third would be him contrasting the experience of being with you and without you. And then, of course, lastly, he is going to have a new mindset to avoid regret. And that mindset is going to be based on that experience that he had with and without you. Now let's go over all these in a little bit more detail. The first one is the initial mindset, the one that makes him feel this is not a good fit. And this is usually evidence-based, meaning the things going in his head, okay? The overthinking is caused by 4 things. It's how it's going, where it's going, how he feels, and the pros and cons, okay? And here's a list or a table of some things that he thinks of in each category, but as you can see, these things, when you're taking one from each category or many just all together, is going to have the mindset of, okay, this isn't a good fit. I'm not really feeling it. I'm not sure. It's best for me to make the decision to leave because people are risk avoidant. He has the experience with you. It's evidence-based. He's reflecting on it and now he's feeling, nah, I'm not about it. And he wants to dip. Obviously, this first stage kind of makes sense, is the worst time to try to convince a guy to stay. You do not want to do that. His mind is already made up. Anything you do after this is going to make him feel like, wow, she's needy, she's clingy, she really likes me, I have a lot of power, like all that type of stuff. It's going to give him a lot of power, but it's also going to make him feel like, she's putting me in a corner. I made the right decision. No, thank God I pulled away. Look how she's acting. You don't want to convince a guy after this, okay? You want to let a guy go and do his thing. The next stage is his experience with you out of his life, okay? And this is also evidence-based. And what I mean by that is you have to understand he wants to realize he made the right decision. He wants to realize, okay, based on all those things I was thinking, again, people don't want to regret. So he has to live it out to see if he's going to regret it. So he is going to go out. He's going to talk to more girls. He's going to get back on the dating apps. Or maybe he never deleted them. He's going to go talk. He's going to talk to his boys. He's going to exercise his freedom. And I don't mean that with just women, just in general. He's going to play more video games or go out more or do whatever more, okay? And live a life with you out there, with you not in his life. And the reason he's doing this is because he felt that usually when a guy pulls away, this is going to sound kind of harsh, but when a guy pulls away, I always say people are either an asset or a liability in your life. If a guy is pulling away from you and you guys go your separate ways, like you're not really talking anymore or dating, he sees you as a liability, and it's because of XYZ, whatever. She takes too much of my time. She's too clingy. She's too much. We fight all the time. Whatever it is. Now he wants to exercise these things. Okay, now I have all this freedom. She's gone. I have all this freedom. I can relax. We're not fighting anymore. He's going to live that out. It's evidence-based. The third stage is a guy who is going to contrast being with you and being without you. Of course, if you were a decent girlfriend or a decent friends with benefits, whatever you got, situationship, whatever you guys were, he is going to reminisce. The reminiscing is always going to happen. There's not going to be a stage where a guy doesn't reminisce and think, man, she was a cool girl. And things are going to remind him of you. A scent, a couple, something he sees on TV, something that reminds him of an inside joke that you guys had, he is going to reminisce. And like I said, it's not all, hopefully in your relationship, it's not all bad things. Like you were an attractive woman, you were cool, you were fun, he can open up to you. He can trust in you. You were loyal. You guys had a good thing. You guys laughed. Chemistry, had a lot in common. He's going to think about all these things. He will think about them, okay? But what you need to understand is if you're like orbiting around and you're like hoping he changes his mind or returns, he's not going to feel that drastic, like, oh shit, I effed up. I made the wrong decision. He's not going to feel that, okay? So you need to let a guy kind of like sit in his room in the dark and think of the contrast, the pros and cons of being with you, the pros and cons of you being in his life versus doing your own thing and him doing his own thing. Which then gets you to the last stage, the last part of the sequence, which is he has to make a decision based off the third thing, the reflection, like reflecting on it, to avoid regret. Now, here's the beautiful thing about regret. Regret is self-inflicted. Regret says, I had it in the palm of my hands, but because I was greedy, I was selfish, I was this, I was that, whatever it was, okay, I effed up and I lost it. You want to make a man regret losing you. You want to make a man regret losing you, and you do not do that by sitting around and, like I said, orbiting and hoping he changes his mind and being there when he returns and waiting for his arrival. You don't do that. You have to make a man fully regret that he made the decision in losing you, and you do that by following through with actions, being the perfect actress, right? And playing the part that, hey, you lost me. And how do I know this? Because there's two stages a guy will go through when he realizes, oh shit, I actually miss her. I actually effed up. I regret this decision. The first stage is, well, not regretting it. The first stage is, okay, she could play this game, she could pull back, I can come over here and do my thing, but I know deep down if I came back around and I just said, I'm sorry, let's try this, let's do this, can we talk, can we meet up for coffee and discuss this, whatever a guy says, I know I can weasel my way back in, and there I am, okay? And this is very true. This happens all the time. I can't tell you how many of you women weasel or orbit around, I use that word a lot, orbit around hoping a guy is going to change his mind. Then once he does, you're right there waiting for him, okay? A guy knows that. The second stage, though, is where the woman plays the part. She's not responding. She's not overreacting. She's not reaching out. She's not liking his post. She's nothing. She's gone. She's ghosting the ghoster, basically. She is not showing any sign that she gives a shit. She's not showing any sign. And when a guy sees this, and it's believable, it's when it's believable, he's like, oh man, I actually screwed up. I made the wrong decision. And by the way, ladies, if you want more on this, if you want more detail, you're thinking, Elliot, I like what you're saying, give me more. Please check out my no contact guide. This goes into everything I'm saying and more. More about the mindsets, more about what to say when he returns, why he's returning, how to give him the ultimatum, what to say, all that type of stuff. Link is going to be down in the description. I'm going to pin it to the top of the comments. So you may be asking yourself, well, okay, how long does it take for a guy to regret this? What's the process look like? To me, I would say anywhere from maybe 1 to 3 months. And the reason I'm starting at 1 month is because, like I said, that first stage, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to say anything. You don't even want to think about him coming back or convincing him. It's not going to be in your favor. So at the 1 month mark is when he starts feeling it. And he might just jump the gun and be like, hey, I made a bad decision, whatever, things like that. Up to 3 months, maybe 6 months. But I tell women, when it gets past 3 months, especially if you guys haven't been talking that long, he's coming back for the assets. He's coming back for the sugar walls. He is not coming back for a relationship or because he likes you. I would bet my life on that. Trust me, a guy who truly likes you doesn't put himself in a position to lose you. If a guy is coming back after 3 months, he didn't just wake up and realize, oh man, she's the one. I love her so much. What was I thinking? That's not what it was. It's that he wants the assets and he knows that you're pre-qualified, meaning that we've done all this before. I know she likes me. It's going to be easier to get her instead of talking to someone else and starting all over. So he's going to try that while talking to other people and starting all over. Okay, so do not let a guy back in after 3 months. If it's past 3 months, he's out, move on. However, if he does return, ladies, you may not agree with me on this, but I always tell women, if a guy returns and you had a situationship, meaning you guys have been on a good amount of dates, 6+, and things like that, and things were going well, you do need to tell a guy two things, okay? This is the only two things you need to tell a guy. What the F were you thinking? Like what's going, like get clarity, like what's going on, what happened? And the second thing is, and again, you might not like this, you have to tell him, hey, you got to nut up or shut up. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not doing this again. You got to make the decision here. You know what you want. That's why you pulled away, okay? Or what you don't want. That's why you pulled away. I'm not wasting my time. This is it. Make the decision. Please do not let a guy weasel his way. This is how women lose. Do not let a guy weasel his way back in by saying, well, can we talk and see where it goes? No, you know where it's going. You know where it's going. You know what this is. You know what I have to offer, right? You've been inside me. Like, just make the decision. If you're not ready, you're not ready, but let me know and move the F on, dude. So at the end of the day, ladies, those are the 4 stages the guy goes through. To get a guy to truly regret losing you, okay, you have to play the part. You have to play the role of, oh man, I'm actually moving on. I'm done with him. He's whack. I'm not responding. I'm not letting him back in. He has to literally beg to come back, okay? He has to blow up your shit. And then when he does, you have to say, okay, I'm giving you one chance. What happened? What are you thinking? And if you're coming back around, okay, I'm not wasting time. We're either jumping into that relationship or I'm moving on. You know what you want. You know what you're getting. Make a decision. Okay, ladies? So with that being said, I love you all. Take care and peace. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott. And as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about how to skyrocket your value. If you want men to respect you, to stay consistent, to keep around, and take you off the market, this is the video. So let's jump right in. The number one way to increase your value in a man's eyes is to put a price on your time and who you're intimate with. That means you are not just hanging out with the guy because you have a good chemistry and you like him or you think he's cute. He has to earn it. He earns it by investing his resources, time, energy, effort, money, investing these things into you consistently. A man with a sporadic communication style does not value your time, nor does he deserve it. At the same time, a man who doesn't know what he wants does not value your time. If he's expecting you to see where it goes, no, that is not how it works, homie. That's like a guy picking you up for a date, going to your house, picking you up, open the door, you get in the car, and he says, okay, so what do you want to do? Like, are you serious? You didn't plan anything? No, I just kind of wanted to see where it goes. Let's just go by, fucking shoot the shit, whatever. No, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. You have to value your time. You have to value who you're intimate with, or he's not going to. Number 2, framing a relationship from the get-go. One of the best ways to increase your value is to frame whatever this is, this entanglement, okay, frame whatever this is, that it's moving towards something, that it has the goal, the end goal of a relationship. Anything other than that, you should not sign up for it. Now, I'm not saying a guy needs right then and there to tell you that he wants to be with you forever. Of course not. But a woman loses so much value when she signs up with a guy who wants to see where it goes, or whatever happens, or I'm not looking for a relationship, but if the right girl comes along and then you think you're the right girl, you sit around and you're hopeful. No. Here's why you lose that. A man wins this trade because he gets access to your time without paying the cost. Yes, he might invest in you. Yes, he might court you and things like that. But if you don't know where it's going, you will not win this negotiation. You will not win this because you get value by it being outcome, you're outcome dependent, by seeing where it goes, by it turning into a relationship. But if he's not even on the same page with you because he's unsure and you're going along with this, you know he's going to get access to you. All this stuff that you guys are doing is going to happen, obviously, before the relationship. It has to happen before the relationship. So what's he going to do? Give you all these things, and you're going to give him the sugar walls and hook up, and then at the end of it, he's like, sorry, I don't want a relationship. I just realized that. No, we don't do that. He has to say, I am looking for something serious. I want a relationship. I'm looking to settle down. Number 3, staying in your feminine. If you stay in your feminine, ladies, if you stay in that feminine energy, you will maximize your value. Why? Because you're playing more reactionary. You're not taking the lead. You're not stepping out of your zone. You're not doing something you're not supposed to do. You're letting him lead and you're reacting to it. Meaning if he does not lead, then you leave. Repeat that with me, ladies. If he does not lead, you leave. What does that look like? If he's not initiating, trying, if he's not making dates, if he's not putting his best foot forward, like I said, investing his resources, time, energy, effort, money. And I'm not saying a guy has to jump through a million hoops. I know the 2% of guys who watch this would be like, oh, F all that. Listen, I agree with you guys. I'm not saying this woman's something special, but if you're agreeing to courtship, you got to court a girl to some extent. But what I see a lot of women do instead is she likes the guy, she justifies these actions. Well, he said he was busy, or he gets his kids on the weekend, so that's why he hasn't messaged me in the last 3 days. No. Stop. A man signed up to court you. He needs to court you. If he's busy with his kids, he needs to say, hey, I'm going to be busy with my kids for the next 3 days. So if I don't get back to you, because communication is part of it too. If I don't get back to you right away, that is why. But coming Monday, don't worry, I got you, girl. Okay? Number 4 is agreeing to frames that benefit you. If you want to increase your value, you have to agree to frames that make you look good, that benefit you, that give you the +1, okay? These are usually things that fit your dynamic, that increase your value, that make you look like the hotter, more sought after one, the one who cares less, things like that. Now, for all of you who do not know, well, what's a frame? A frame, in the most simple terms, is a perspective that you want someone else to pick up, right? And usually they're beneficial. You want someone to have the same frame or perspective of you on what this interaction is. And to do that, you have to manipulate variables. You have to manipulate them in a way where it's very convincing or it's true. So for example, let me put this up on the video. If you see these two things, which you all want, right? You're always in the situationship, but you want the relationship. If you are agreeing to the things on the left side, the situationship, the last minute dates, the lack of effort, the inconsistency, there's a lot of sex and not a lot of like emotional connection. He's not really initiating a lot, and you're agreeing to all this because you don't want to let him go, or you're hopeful, or you're justifying the actions. You are agreeing essentially to a frame that benefits him and not you. Because this is called a frame battle. Like, this is all a battle. He's trying these things on you. He's trying these things. I'm pointing over here because the paper's over here I'm looking at. But he wants to save on resources. He wants to save time, energy, effort, money. So it's easier to ask you to come over, okay, then take you out and spend money on you. There has to be a balance. I'm not saying never go over to a guy's house, but he has to invest in you first before you do so. That's how it all works. However, if you're agreeing to the frames that benefit him, which is, he's sporadic, he comes and goes, he reaches out last minute when he wants something, he only reaches out when he wants sex, well, that frame doesn't benefit you, it hurts you. Instead, a high value woman who values her time, the dates are planned, the guy's investing in her, there's consistency, he's initiating, and the dates are plentiful, okay? So you have to agree to frames that benefit you. And by the way, ladies, if you like the stuff I'm spitting out here, please check out my guide on how to hook a guy. I go over everything that men want, that men commit to, why they do the things they do, male psychology. It will make you 10 times better at dating simply by reading it. The link is going to be down in the description, and I'm going to leave it pinned in the comments. And last but not least, there needs to be a limited time offer. Ladies, if you are talking to a guy and you are 8 weeks in and he has not asked you to be his girlfriend, it's time for you to bring that up. Now, I know you're like, well, I don't want to bring it up. Well, if he has brought it up, he's not going to bring it up. There's no benefit for him bringing it up. If you're already giving him the assets without him having to pay a cost, why would he throw himself under the bus like that? He's going to continue what this is. But you are a high value woman who puts value on your time. Your time has a price. You have to call it what it is. If a guy is not your boyfriend after 8 weeks, you gotta have the talk. If that means losing him, okay, well then you lose him. You're not gonna stick around and hope for change and let him take advantage of that hope, ladies. A high value woman does not do that. There's a limited time offer. If you cannot give me what I want, okay, if you cannot take me off the market, if we are not on the same page, cool, no hard feelings. I'm gonna go do my own thing, okay? So with that being said, ladies, I love you all. Take care. Again, if you want to check out my guide, links are down below. I love you all. Take care and peace. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, and if you want the most accurate video on a guy's true intentions, on if a guy is actually going to commit to you or not, this is the video for you, so let's jump right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is consistency, but I want to let you know what it is and what it looks like. So when I talk about consistency, I mean something that is sustainable, something that you guys can maintain over the long run. That means if you're talking all day, every day, and a guy is blowing up your phone and he's wanting to do 15 FaceTimes a day, that's not sustainable. That's going to die off, okay? At the same time, inconsistency does not mean okay, I'm going to talk to you one day, then we don't talk to you one day, then we don't talk to you one day, then we don't talk. That's not inconsistent, because if you guys do that over a long period and it's sustainable, that's what you guys should do. What I talk about, or at least I guess the better word is sporadicness. You do not want sporadicness. High value women do not accept that. So what does that look like? A guy being very hot and then a guy being cold. A guy reaching out and and having a good time with you on the date and blowing up your phone and then going 3 days without hearing from you or hearing from each other. That's sporadicness. We do not deal with that. When that happens, that is the most clearest sign that a guy is not looking for a relationship with you. Why is that? Because a guy who truly likes you doesn't put himself in a position to lose you, number one. Number two, I always say that the most accurate equation, okay, I always say this, on if a guy likes you or not, is he consistently investing his resources into you over time. If he's doing those 4 things, that's great. But again, consistency means something that is sustainable between you two, not sporadicness. Number 2, is the relationship linear or exponential? And what I mean by this is, when you're in a relationship, ladies, who do you think it benefits more if you just go on date 1, date 2, date 3, date 4, date 5, but it's actually not progressing? The number's progressing, but the rapport, the relationship, the progress isn't. You don't want it to move like this. You want it to move like this. And you want it to be exponential. You want it to literally take off. And the reason for that is, the takeoff, at least on the guy's end, okay, means I really found something that I like. I don't want to F it up. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to put myself in a position to lose her. I don't want to play games. I don't want to this, don't want to that. That's a very good sign. You want a guy who takes off. And again, this is because he realizes, oh man, this is an awesome girl. I really like her. This is a great thing that we have. So on and so forth. However, when it's linear, it usually means 2 things. Number 1, it means he's not sure about you, okay? But he's keeping you around because he doesn't want to. Men are very risk avoidant. He doesn't want to cut you off, okay? Because then he loses all. He might regret it, right? He loses everything. You're not in the picture anymore. But he doesn't also want to transition to a relationship because, again, that's a risk for him because he's not sure he wants a relationship. So if we could just take it day by day or week by week or month by month, okay, cool. Now, we don't do that. The second reason it's not a good thing is you don't know if a guy is actually looking for a relationship or if he's just looking to have fun. When it's taken off like this, on top of the precursors of of him saying, yeah, I'm looking for a relationship. Yeah, I want something serious. And he's not love bombing you, it is good that it takes off. But if he doesn't say I want a relationship and then you're going date by date, what happens is you become very hopeful. You hope that, you assume that you guys are on the same page when he realizes, I'm not sure. So you don't want linear dates. You want it to be exponential. And to give you a kind of a timeline on this, You don't feel the exponential growth until I'd say date 4 or 5. Then you can start to see it take off. And then it just kind of, goes up from there and then kind of maintains up here. But if you're at date 4, 5, 6, and it just feels like date 4, 5, or 6, and there's no depth, that's a problem, ladies. Now, the great thing with this is I actually have a guide that goes into extreme detail on how much a guy actually likes you. I mean, like, you can tell what number you are from a 1 to 10 in his eyes, okay? Because in the guide, I go over like the characteristics, the way he acts, accordingly based on the number that you are. So if you're interested in that, link is down below. I'll leave it in the description also to check it out. Again, it's really important to know where you stand in the relationship with the guy so you don't waste your time. Number 3, he's trying to entertain you while not progressing the relationship. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but it kind of goes off number 2. A guy is risk avoidant. If I can have my cake and eat it too, I'm going to. I always tell my clients, and this is a great phrase, a great quote to live by. Trust me, when it comes to men especially, you will be astonishingly good at predicting the behaviors of others if you always assume that they're acting in their own best interest. If a guy is not progressing the relationship towards a relationship, okay, through depth, rapport, getting to know you, threading your lives to get all that, meeting friends and family, whatever. If he's not doing that, but he's still entertaining you, you should assume 100% that it's for the assets. What else is it for? What else is it for? Unless you're like cleaning his house. Okay, well, I guess that's an asset. But if it's not towards a relationship, then what else do you have to offer? It's benefits. It's benefits to him, meaning validation, sexual favors, sex, blowjobs, intimacy of any type. It could be an ego boost. I already said validation. It could be security. It could be filling a void until the right woman comes along. That's not you. You don't want to do that. If it is not progressing towards a relationship, but you're still in the picture, that's a problem. He is draining you of resources. He is using you until something better comes along. Number 4 is he's taking you for granted. And what I mean by this is men are very resourceful. If I can have you come over, if let's say my goal is to hook up, okay? If I can have you come over and hook up with me just by saying, hey, you want to come over and cuddle and watch a movie? If I can get you to do that, instead of taking you out to a nice dinner, paying for it, sitting down there and getting to know all that shit, okay, just a date. If I can do the previous thing, I'm going to. I'm just going to have you come over. A guy's not going to waste his resources on you if he doesn't have to, okay? So what that looks like is a guy who is putting forth less effort, a guy who is not consistent, a guy who is trying to cut corners. If you're talking to a dude who's always asking you to come over and a guy who is not investing his resources into you, time, energy, effort, money, things like that, then we have a problem. You're talking to a dude who wants the assets. He has no intention on a relationship. And number 5, this one's really important, is threading. Is he actually threading you into his life? After date 4 or 5, if you guys are like relationship material, you really like each other, he's going to start threading you into his life. You're going to have more time in his life. You might start leaving things over. You might meet his friends or family. Maybe not after 4 dates, but I mean, before a relationship, I would say if you're on date 6, 7, 8 and he introduces you to his buddies, that's a good sign. But when you're talking to somebody and you're just a weekend chick or you're just going over there, and even though you guys have I have so many clients tell me, oh yeah, but yeah, we have sex, but it's not just that. We also talk and get to know each other and hang out. Okay, whatever. Hey, I'll talk to you too if you sleep with me. Like, that's every guy, okay? So you want a guy to thread you into his life, to make decisions with you in mind. If that is not happening, then he has no intentions on being with you long term. It kind of goes back to what I said with the third or fourth point, which is, he's just keeping you around for the resource or the assets that you offer until something better comes along, because guys are risk avoidant. If I don't have to cut you off, right, then I won't. If I don't have to get in a relationship with you because I'm not sure about you yet, then I won't. I'll just keep you right here in the middle where I can have my cake and eat it too, okay? Ladies, if you want to know why a man has to court you in order to respect you and commit, and trust me, it will 10x his attraction for you if you do this, okay? Then watch this video and watch it till the end, please, because this is a very fundamental video. This is a video that everyone needs and everyone needs to understand in order to get guys to commit. But with enough of that, let's jump right into it. So the first thing I want to do is lay down the groundwork. I have a saying that I go by in life, but I say it a lot when it comes to dating and I'm talking to my clients, and that is, without structure, there is chaos. Mother Nature, or the universe, whatever you want to call it, has a very mechanical, a very systematic way on how things should work. And if you go against the grain, things are going to blow up in your face. And Mother Nature, or the universe, we'll say Mother Nature, the Mother Nature is going to give you multiple chances, multiple warning signs. And if you ignore them, they will increasingly get worse to the point where it blows up in your face. So if we were to use an example of eating junk food or just eating crap, right? If you keep on eating it, well, what's going to happen? You're going to get very tired and lethargic. That's the first warning. Mother Nature's like, okay, I'm going to give you this warning. If you keep on doing it, well, now you're going to get high blood pressure and you're going to get some weight gain. Well, if you keep on doing it, obviously those things are going to get worse and you're going to get prediabetes, maybe hypertension. And if you keep on going, it will lead to death. You're getting all these warning signs. It is no different with dating. If you're talking to a guy who is not courting you, we have a problem. Why? Because from an evolutionary perspective, a woman is at a higher risk of choosing a wrong mate. There is more going bad for her if she chooses the wrong mate versus a man. If a man chooses the wrong mate, it's like, oh man, I just banged a girl, oh shucks. Nothing happens to him. However, if a woman from an ancestral time, right, if you choose the wrong mate, everything just gets thrown as a disaster. You're more vulnerable to predators. You're slower. You need more assistance. You're not at optimal health, or things can go wrong with you health-wise. You're ostracized by other men because men do not want to take care of another woman's child or another man's child, and you're going to need more calories and nutrients. There's a thing called parental investment theory, which basically states that out of a man and a woman of all species, mostly women are the choosier sex because they have more at risk for picking the wrong one. Women, you bear the child, there's risk in all that. So you have to double down on picking the right guy. Now, the thing is, well, how do I do that? You get a man to court in you. You get a man to invest. Ladies, courting is currency. Courting is the currency of dating. You have to get a man to invest in you. Now, why is this so important? Because your job is to pick the wisest option, the best option, the most surefire option. You cannot find this out unless a man is courting you. If you were to just give every guy a chance, you're going to have problems. Or even every guy that you like a chance, you're going to have problems. Like I said, there's a system. It's very mechanical the way Mother Nature wants this all to work. The guy has to invest in you. The guy has to be consistent. The guy has to want a relationship. If any of these things are wrong, Mother Nature, again, the things that Mother Nature put in place for it to work, if any of these things are wrong, you're the one paying the cost. You are going to pay the cost of this. An analogy I like to use a lot is, let's say you're starting a lawn mowing business, okay? If you were just to go up to every building or home that has grass, you're going to get a lot of no's. There's going to be a lot of people who don't want to pay the money or don't need their grass cut. However, if you're going up to businesses or homes or buildings, whatever, that have taller grass that need cut, your chances of a client being like, hell yeah, let's do this, is dramatically increased because there's a demand there. The same thing with dating. You cannot just talk to all these dudes who you like, and give all these guys the benefit of the doubt and multiple chances, even though they effed up a million times. You should only be giving your time to men who are willing to court you, do it consistently, and invest all their resources into you, time, energy, effort, money, things like that, and who are actually looking for a relationship. Now, of course, if you want to know how to filter men better and you want more information on the evolutionary aspect of dating, what men want, what attracts men, what we commit to, check out the link below. I have a guide, or multiple guides actually. I have a bundle and they're at a discount right now, so don't miss that. Link is down in the description. So with all that being said, let's think of it like this. What happens if you don't have a man court you? We already know the importance of courting. It helps you filter men out. You're seen as higher value. You lower your risk, and that kind of stuff. But what happens if you don't? Okay, you don't let a man court you, or he does in the beginning, then it kind of dies off. Well, many things. You have to understand that men are playing the same game as you ladies. Men want to avoid risk, and he wants to avoid investing his resources in the wrong woman. Again, lower his risk. So if he can avoid, investing his resources altogether, he's going to. Think of it like this. If a man can have you come over and hook up with him instead of him having to take you on 2, 3, 4, 5 dates, spend money, time, energy, effort, all that, getting to know you and all that crap, then get in your pants, what do you think he's going to do? He's just going to do the primary or the first thing. He's going to have you just come over, hang out, have fun, hook up. Men are doing the same thing. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, he's going to take you for granted. There's a really important concept that I tell women. It's the sunken cost fallacy, basically, where if a man's initially investing in you, okay, because he wants something, if he wants to lower his risk of what he's already lost or losing you, right, he has to increase his investment, and vice versa. For you to lower your risk, you want men who raise their investment. So it's a win-win either way for both parties. If a man is investing in a woman that he likes and that is on the same page as him, which is why I always tell women, you got to filter a guy and ask if he even wants the same thing as you. None to see where it goes. Let's see what happened. None of that. You both have to say, I'm looking for a relationship, I'm looking for something serious, I'm looking to settle down, those kind of things, okay? But if you have a guy who is consistently investing his resources into you over time, okay, this dramatically increases your likelihood of a guy committing, a guy liking you, a guy wanting a relationship. Otherwise, why would he do it, right? It just doesn't make sense. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, well, I know a lot of guys who would do it for 2, 3, 4 months. Listen, if you're talking that long to a dude and he's not your boyfriend, that's on you. That's not even him. So whatever. I have women who talk to guys for months and they're still single. I'm like, that's not even his fault anymore. He just played the game better than you, okay? But ladies, a man's going to avoid risk at all costs. That means if he doesn't want a relationship with you, he's going to try to cut corners. He's not going to invest the resources. He's just going to have you come over and not take you on dates. So you need to have men who, again, if they want to lower their risk, they have to raise their investment. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to go over ways to bring up concerns you have with your partner. Now, we're going to do this by me reading it off my phone because there's several and I'm not going to remember it all word by word, but I will put it up on the screen, and if you want to copy and paste it, I'll leave it down in the description, okay? So let's jump right into this, ladies. The first way I would bring up a concern is, and we'll call him John, okay? We'll call him John. I'll say, hey, John, I really enjoyed getting to know you and wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind lately. I've noticed that we have very different communication styles and it sometimes leads to misunderstandings. I think finding a middle ground where we both feel heard and understood would be really helpful. Can we discuss this and find a way to improve our communication? I like this. Why? Because she is not attacking him, Okay, this is not attacking the guy. It is saying, hey, it's not your problem. We just have different communication styles. It's just as much as me as it is you. Logically, let's find a middle ground where it benefits us both and we come up with a solution. This is amazing. The second example, we'll stay with John, okay? Hey, John, I value our relationship and connection we share. I wanted to discuss something that's been bothering me. Sometimes I feel like our personal time gets overshadowed by other commitments, and I'd like to find a better balance. Can we brainstorm some ideas on how we can prioritize quality time together? Again, I like this one a lot because she is addressing what the issue is. She is saying, hey, we both have commitments that are getting in the way, and I really enjoy my time with you. So is there a way where we can balance both of these things? I'm not saying stop what you're doing, but I like this and I want a little more consistency. Nothing wrong with saying that, ladies. Third example. Hey, John, I wanted to have a conversation about something that's been on my mind. I've noticed that there are times when our communication feels a bit inconsistent. It leaves me feeling unsure about where we stand, and I value clarity and consistency in a relationship. Can we talk about finding a way to improve our communication so that we're on the same page? What I like about this is she's saying we a lot, right? Or the script says we a lot. It's not, hey, you're an effing idiot. What are you doing? Why are you so inconsistent? Are you 100% in or out? Like, what are you doing? A guy who truly likes you won't put himself in a position to lose you. That's what my coach says. This is different. This basically says, hey, we're just inconsistent. Let's find a way together on fixing this. Beautiful. They're all beautiful, right? So the next one. Hello, John. I wanted to address a concern that I've noticed regarding our communication. Again, I love the fact that she's using our. It feels like there are times when we are very connected and in sync, but then there are instances where the communication becomes sporadic or infrequent. It leaves me feeling a bit unsettled, and I think it's important for us to find a way to establish a more consistent line of communication. Can we discuss this and find a solution together? I love it, love it, love it, love it. Ladies, and of course, the last one. This is a fun video, or a fast video, and fun for me at least. I just wanted to put these things up here so you guys can use them, copy, paste, whatever. But if you want more information on why guys do these type of things, how to raise your value, how to do no contact if it comes to it, trust me, that's all very beneficial things. You might as well just do what I'm about to say. Check out my guide, okay? I have 6 guides. They're at a bundle right now at an affordable price. I lowered the price so you all can get this. I don't know how long I'm gonna do it, but if you want 6 guides that go into super depth on all the things I teach in my videos, link is down in the description, and I'm gonna pin it to the top of the comments, okay? So, lastly, hey John, I appreciate our connection, and I wanted to have an open and honest conversation about our communication patterns. It seems like there are moments when it's really strong and consistent, and there are times when it becomes sporadic or unpredictable. It leaves me feeling uncertain. I believe that open and reliable communication is crucial for a healthy relationship. Can we find ways to improve our communication so that it feels more consistent and balanced? I love it. Again, these are all the phrases, all the scripts lead to one thing: finding a solution. It's not your fault. I'll help you. We'll meet halfway. Let's just find a solution. Okay? So with that being said, ladies, I love you all. Take care and peace. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott. And what if I told you that if you do this one thing, 90% of men will come back? This is true. Trust me on it. They always come back, especially if you do this. So let's jump right into it. The first thing I want to do is kind of lay down the groundwork. And there's 2 things I want to go over. Number 1, it's how it ended. If it ended horribly, then you might as well just click off this video, okay? If it ended horribly, no. However, if it ended in a neutral or it just didn't work out type of way, you got a chance. So what does that look like? If you're talking to a guy who got in his head and started pulling away, that's not a bad thing. I mean, it is for you, but what I mean is, like, it's not doomed. If you're talking to somebody who is sporadic with their texting and you called it out and, you guys went your separate way because he couldn't uphold your standard, That's not a bad, well, again, it is to you, but it's not a bad thing for this situation. It is fixable, okay, salvageable. So with that being said, the next thing I want to talk about, the second thing, is a concept called framing. And these things go hand in hand, you'll see. Framing in the most simplest form, because I can write a whole entire book on it, but in its simplest form, it's trying to convince someone of your perspective in the interaction. So an example of this would be if you and I are on a date and I want to create this frame of high value. I have to I have to manipulate certain variables. So what would that look like? Well, high value men, my body language, I might lean back, take up a little bit of space, and I'm not chasing as hard. I come off that very confident and sure of myself. I make sure you are pleased. I make sure you are happy. You are taken care of. I lead the conversation. I pay for the date. I make sure you're having a good time, and things like that. These are frames I can control. And the more convincing, here's the important thing, the more convincing a frame is, okay, the more likely someone is going to adopt your frame, because the whole time you have this thing, what they call a frame battle, okay? And you want to have frame control. So a frame battle would be, you want to come off high value too, and you don't want to chase and stuff like that. So you have this perspective on, or you manipulate the variables in a certain way. But again, whoever has a more convincing, or what they call the absolute truth, like the true variable, it benefits that person. The other one's going to adopt the frame. So what I mean by true is, let's say a guy doesn't want to be in a relationship with you, but you want to be in a relationship with him. So you could play this game where you're like, oh, I don't give a shit, F you, whatever. But behind that mask, internally, you do care. It doesn't matter how well you play the game. If he actually doesn't want a relationship, you lose that negotiation, because he's not going to continue it. There's no reason for him to continue it. However, right now, jumping into this, what is the one thing you need to do in order to get guys to come back? The first thing is you have to understand why guys pull away, and I'm going to run over this real fast just so we can jump into it. But men pull away because of pressure. That's the number one reason. They'll give you a bunch of excuses, but it all falls under the idea of pressure. And I know this for a fact because I used to be that guy, number one. And number two, if you think about it, if a guy has the assets and doesn't have to pay the cost, why would he pull away? If I were to offer you an apartment or a home and you don't have to pay for it, would you take it up? Of course you would. Men are no different. If I can have my cake and eat it too, getting in your pants, and I don't feel like I don't feel pressured, I don't feel obligated to give you something, I don't feel like you're hopeful or holding out for a relationship. So I don't feel that pressure. I'm going to continue to do it. I'm getting free sex. Okay, so the assets have to be worth the cost. Meaning he has to, again, it has to end well. He has to want these things, okay, and he has to believe that it's worth coming back to. Meaning, I might want to have sex with you, but if that's going to be drama, because after I hit it, you're gonna assume a relationship. We have to go through all this shit again. It's not worth it. But when a guy pulls away, the one thing a woman needs to do to get a man back, or to have him chase, is to believe it. He needs to believe 100% without a doubt that he actually lost you. So one reason guys pull away is pressure, okay? Well, the one reason guys don't come back, at least right away, and I mean like the first month, 2, 3, whatever, is men feel like they don't need to. You're not going anywhere. They're not convinced that you moved on. They know that, hey, we've separated, or I'm the one who pulled away because I felt pressure, or I the one who didn't live up to her standards. It's not that she didn't want a relationship, I just wasn't able to give her one. But I know if I came back around and said blah blah blah, whatever, she would eat that shit up and I'm back in. And that's usually what guys do. So I have videos, I'll probably link it somewhere right here, on, guys wanting to be your friend still. Guys still wanting to be on social media with you, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I actually would keep them on there if it ended decently, just so they could see what they missed out on. However, if you want to click, the link's right there if you want to check it out. But guys want to be your friend because they don't want to burn the bridge. They don't want to burn the bridge. So going back to framing, again, I'm wrapping this all up now. Going back to framing, if you can frame that you are a high value woman who is done with this shit and it's convincing, he's going to be like, oh shit, what just happened? What's going on here? Okay, guys have two levels. Guys have the two levels of missing you. The first one is what I said. The first one is, oh, she's playing this game, we're not talking, but I don't miss her because I don't regret anything because I haven't actually lost out on her. I can get her still if I wanted to. However, if you create a frame of a high value woman who's done with the bullshit, meaning you're consistent with it, you're following through, you're not responding to his texts, he's double, triple texting you, you're not looking at his photos, he's looking at your shit and you're not responding to the hearts, to the emojis, none of that. You actually act as if you're done. A guy will get to a point where he thinks, oh shit, I actually lost her. And ladies, guys are always going to go through this process, by the way. It's inevitable. And guys are going to miss you. It's just if they're going to do something about it. So you want to raise your chances as much as possible when he goes through this process. And it becomes like the right thing at the right time sort of scenario where it's like, man, I'm lonely. It's Saturday night. I'm sitting here. I'm not really doing any shit. Work is beating my ass. It was nice having her around, and he's going to reminisce about it. Why? Because it didn't end badly. It's not like you guys hate each other. It just didn't work out. You guys just went your separate ways. Doesn't mean that their feelings weren't there. He just was unable to give you something. So when a guy starts to miss you, he's going to have this feeling of regret, but he can only, ladies, this is so important. He can only have it. He can only have this feeling if he knows he lost you. The regret's so powerful because it's self-inflicted. If I don't feel that you're gone, if I don't feel that I lost out, if you don't give me an opportunity to miss you, I can't feel regret. So to sum all this up, ladies, the one thing that you need to do is create a frame of a high value woman who's done with the shit to the point where he goes from this level, like I said, to the second level. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and you want to know if he's going to regret not committing to you, especially the emotionally unavailable men. Do they regret not committing? Do they regret not following through and seeing, what this could have turned into? We're going to jump right into this, okay? So here's the quick answer. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think a lot of now, of course, not to all the girls they're talking to. That's just not realistic. But, if he really likes a girl, does he have that sense of like he likes her, I want to commit to her, I can't commit to her because I have this emotional block? Does he regret it? 100% they do. They really do. I have a lot of clients who will come to me and they'll say, was any of this even real? Was any of this serious? He just switched or flipped so fast. Why is that? What happened? And, the good news, unfortunate it happened, but the good news is it is genuine for the most part. Now, I'm not saying there's not guys out there who play the game and, just want to hit and quit or manipulate. There's that. But if you get a sense that this guy is not a bad guy, that this guy is a decent dude and that he's honest for the most part, I do think a lot of the times the things he's saying to you, the things he's doing, the way he's acting, especially in the beginning, it is genuine. It does come from a decent place. Now, you might be hesitant on believing that because it's like, well, how could a guy flip so fast? How could a guy, be so into me one week and then the next week it's like it never happened, it never existed? How could someone walk away from that? It's just context, ladies. And if you don't know what context is, it's the things that you guys do and say over time that create this serious vibe in the relationship. And it gets to a point, and again, context always happens. It's neutral. It's not good or bad. It depends on the people. If we're on the same page and we both want a relationship and we're emotionally available, context is good. You want to build it towards a relationship. But what ends up happening is when two people like each other, especially in the beginning, there's no context. So of course he's going to say these things, do these things, act this way, whatever it is. But it's on a blank canvas. The picture isn't painted. There's nothing of this relationship. Is it even a relationship? It's just two people who really like each other and they want to enjoy each other's time and the assets each offers. But of course, to obtain these assets, it comes at a cost. And in the beginning, it's the man's courtship. It's the man investing his resources, time, energy, effort, money, and things like that. And that's the stuff, if we go back to the blank canvas analogy, that's the stuff that, that flips the paint on the canvas and the picture starts to get very, very realistic, very vivid. And it's like, oh, wow, holy shit, like this is really good. I didn't know it was, yeah. And so then a guy reflects on it and he thinks, oh shit. He gets to the point where he feels obligated to give you something. That's what it is, ladies. If you're talking to an emotionally unavailable man, it's never one thing you guys do. Women will come to me and say, oh man, I slept with him too early. Or, oh man, Elliot, if I didn't go on that trip with him, would this have happened? Would I still be talking? Or Elliot, it's because I said that one thing, or I was drunk that one time and we got in that fight. It's never one thing. It's never one thing with emotionally unavailable men. It's the context, it's the layering. And like I said, it gets to the point where he feels obligated to give you something, which causes pressure, which makes a man second guess these things and pull away. Because if he stays around, you as a woman, rightfully so, should assume we're on the same page when we're not. Now, of course, I wish a guy could communicate that better, but what ends up happening is they don't, and they pull away and start acting very, very different. And then you're confused, and because you're confused, you might be playing the same game with him, which is, well, if he's going to do that shit, I'm going to do that shit, which then, it just dies off. Or you're coming on very strong to try to keep it alive, and that's not good either. What you should do if a guy's pulling away is you got to call it out, and if he doesn't change, then you got to cut your losses. I always tell women, you have to get a man to regret losing you, ladies. Women, the title of this video is a great example. Women will always ask me, will he regret it, Elliot? Elliot, will he regret it? Do these guys ever come back and realize how dumb they were? Not if you don't give them an opportunity to. Not if you don't give them an opportunity to miss you. I always say regret is self-inflicted, ladies. You have to get a man to think, it's my fault why I effed up. Or why this is happening. It's my fault that I don't have you. I had you in the palm of my hands. We had a good thing going. You were a good ass woman, but I effed up because I had this emotional block and it's caused by me. You have to get a man to believe that, okay? But if he can if an emotionally unavailable man can come and go and do as he pleases and not, sorry, my stomach rolled there, and not feel the repercussions of what happened, there's no reason for him to regret it. In fact, he can have his cake and eat it too. He would be in the best position possible, so why would he commit? You're not going anywhere. You're conditioning a man to treat you this way. If you want emotionally unavailable men to regret losing you, which will happen, right? But it will only happen under the condition that he truly believes that he lost you. Now, if you want more information on what I just said, like the process a man goes through when he pulls away and the chances of him coming back. Please check out my guide. I have an amazing guide on it. I actually have a bundle of guides right now, 6 of them, that will tell you everything you need to know about men, hooking men, being the perfect woman for them, doing no contact, what they're thinking, all the above. Okay, so I'll leave a link down in the description. But when it comes to these emotionally unavailable men, it's not your job to fix them. It's not your job to try to make it work. You as a woman have to, it's all a negotiation. You are putting yourself on the market, and the number one thing that you value is your time. If a man is emotionally unavailable, ladies, I'm not even talking about the topic of the video anymore. If the man is emotionally unavailable, I'm not talking about high value now. If the man's emotionally unavailable, okay, and he can't give you what you want, or he isn't consistent, or he's not doing what he's supposed to do, then you gotta be like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, get out of here. Like, I'm not wasting my time. It's not worth it. He has, you can't go into a store, and when the price is, $100 you're not going to bargain someone down to $70. Like, that doesn't happen in, like, I guess main stores. Big, like, you're not going to go into a Ferrari, dealership and say, hey, I know this is $250,000, but I'll give you 150 or 175. I'll give you 200. They'll look at you like, get the fuck out of here. You're not the customer we're looking for. Like, you can't afford it. Get out of here. You need to be the same way with the dude. If a guy is pulling some bullshit and he can't give you what you're looking for, you need to look at him. Don't say this, of course, but you need to look at him and say, you gotta rub top of his head. You're just not ready, little guy. You're just not ready for it. And have him regret losing you. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott. And what if I told you, if you do these 5 things, you're gonna have a guy freaking out about losing you. You're going to get what you want. You're going to have him coming back, begging to stay, and you're going to have all the power. So with that being said, let's jump right into this. Let's start off with a scenario so you can relate to the topic. If this is happening to you, then this video is for you. You're talking to a guy who is either taking you for granted, he's pulling away. You're not doing this to play games. You're not doing this to regain power, even though that is something that will happen. You're not doing this because of ego. You're talking to a guy where things were going well, then all of a sudden he's, again, pulling away, he's sporadic, he's acting distant, or he can't give you what you're looking for, and you guys are not what you were previously. So going off that, the first thing is, ladies, it's so important to be a high-value woman who is highly sought after. Now, I know not all of you have a million options that are 10s and things like that. That's not what I'm getting at. But you do have to frame it in a way where you want this guy, but you do not need him. So what does that look like? Okay, that's not double texting. That's not chasing. That's not giving a guy a million chances. That's not letting a guy come and go. That's not putting up with his bullshit. If you do that, that is the new standard. That is how he is going to treat you. We love, as humans, we love having something that other people cannot get. If he is able to do this shit to you and you stick around, okay, he is going to take you for granted. Trust me, he will take you for granted. Instead, if he's pulling this bullshit, you need to call it out. And if it doesn't change, you need to be acting as if you don't care because you are talking to other people. You are highly sought after. You're not replying to his text right away. You are not agreeing to these short-term or short notice dates. If it's Friday, 3 p.m. and he asks you, hey, do you want to go out to dinner Friday at 6 p.m. or in 3 hours? You're not doing that. No, a high value woman does not do that. Your time is valuable. A woman's value is based on her time and who she chooses to be intimate with. Those are 2 decisions you have to make very, very, very clear, that the man who's investing in me is the man who gets those. When he started acting sporadic, he does not deserve that, okay, ladies? So you have to be highly sought after, or come off like you're highly sought after. You have to come off as if you're a high-value woman. A high-value woman does not give this man a million chances. And this kind of goes into number 2, which is you have to frame it in a way where he doesn't have you. So a lot of women come to me and they ask, Elliot, I'm doing what you're saying, but nothing's changing. Why? Why isn't it changing? It's because men are very, I call it evidence-based. Men are very evidence-based. And power dynamic is like, it's not, think of it like turning a boat. You know, if you're trying to turn a little fucking boat, okay, you could just whatever, and that boat turns. Very easy, very easy. If you're trying to turn a big cargo ship, it's very slow and a very wide turn. It takes a while. And the reason for that, and again, I guess in this sense, just because you start acting a certain way and you change overnight and you're like, oh, I'm not putting up with your shit anymore, you know, whatever. The reason it doesn't change so fast is it's evidence-based. He sees everything up to this point that, oh, hey, she's just putting on a facade. She's just doing this bullshit. You know, I know she likes me. I know she wants me. I've done this before and she let me back in. I've done this before and she gave me another chance. All I have to do is say yada, 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 and you know, and her wall will slowly crumble down. You have to frame it in a way where it's like, no, dude, I'm done. And again, what does that look like? You're not answering his texts, or at least you're not answering them right away. You're letting him double, triple text. You're letting him like your shit, and you're not saying anything. You're still going out and doing your thing. You're not letting him back in. It's all that type. You have to frame it in a way where you're looking good. Hey, whether I have you or not, homie, I would like you in my life, but you're pulling some bullshit. So get the hell out of here. If you do that, a guy's going to get to the point where he's like, oh shit, I actually lost her. What am I doing? And then he's going to start getting you back. Because with a lot of guys, I always tell women there's 2 layers to it with men. There's the layer where it's like, okay, well, you guys aren't talking, but he doesn't miss you because, you know, he knows he can get you back. It's all framing. And I can make a whole video on this. When it comes to framing, whoever has the strongest frame wins. And the way you get a strong frame is by either having evidence, okay, like controlling the variables within the frame, or it being very true. If he does not concede to your frame, it's because he is not convinced of it. He doesn't fear losing you because he has never lost you. You have always came back. So why would this time be any different? That's which goes back to number 1, ladies. You just have to come off as a high value woman who does not put up with this bullshit. Okay. And then this leads to number 3, which is you have to follow through. There is no such thing as a 30-day no contact. People will text me all the time, Elliot, I did 90 days no contact, and there is no day. I don't know. I think it was Husty who got this all into your head. You know, there is, like with the writing letter shit. There is no writing letters. There is no reaching out down the road. There is no 30-day, 60-day, 90-day. No, that is not a thing. You have to follow through. And it doesn't mean just how long, it's how deep you're willing to do it. So meaning you're not looking at his post. You're not liking his shit. You're not responding right away. You're not sitting around worried. Like you're not doing you have to be an actress and you have to play the role completely to the point where he feels, oh shit, she's actually gone. But a lot of women don't follow through. A lot of women will play the game. This is what y'all do. You'll play the game really well for the first month. But then when he comes around, you're like, okay, I did it right. That's why he's back. Oh, Elliot's right. Okay, cool, I got him. And then you try to renegotiate shit, but it ends up blowing up in your face because it's the thing that's happening is what I said in number 2. It's he comes back around. He doesn't actually miss you. Okay, well, that was off. He doesn't actually miss you. He feels like, okay, I know it's time for me to come back and break this wall down. No, ladies, that's not how it works. When the guy comes back around, you got to make him work for it, okay? Meaning he has to be blowing up your shit, double, triple text, doing liking all that kind of stuff. And then you have to have the relationship talk right then and there. If you've been on 6 plus dates, and you had the relationship talk, 6 plus dates, and he comes back around, it's not to continue to see where it goes. No, it's like, hey, I'm not wasting my time, nut up or shut up. Do what you got. Oh, hey, what is this? Like, and then try to transition into something more serious, because other than that, he's just going to do the same thing. But ladies, if you want to know how to do that correctly, the whole no contact, and his mental process during all of this, please check out my guides. I have a bundle going on right now. 6 guides. I bundled them together and I put it at a discounted price so it's affordable. You need these guides if you want to maximize your value, just like we said in number 1, maximize your value and know how to do no contact correctly. It's crazy how many women, are their own worst enemies, and they had an opportunity to get a guy back, or they had an opportunity to make it work, but because they don't have the guide and they don't know how to do it correctly, they just miss out. They're that close, but they miss out, because it does come down to that. It's manipulating little things to get your way. Okay, that sounds kind of messed up, but it is what it is. It's these little variables that you have to fix, and things change. It's crazy, but if you want the link is down in the description. Number 4, bear with me here, but number 4 is you have to keep him on social media and then delete him. Now, here's what I mean by that. This is very technical. This is high risk, high reward, but it works. So when a guy's not talking to you, I don't want you deleting him right away. It just shows that it's bothering you. Unless you don't give a shit, that's a whole different thing. But unless you really don't give a shit, then okay. But you don't want to delete him right away, okay? What you want to do is put up pictures to show that you're not fazed. Not to make it obvious. Like, if you don't post, don't start posting 10 pictures a day or stories. No. But you want to show that, hey, I'm still going out to lunch with my girlfriends. I'm still going out with my, friends at night. Here's my gym pic that I always pick. Like, you still want to post all those things. However, later, you want to do that for a couple weeks. And then after that, you want to introduce a man into the picture, right? But it doesn't have to be a man you're talking to, and it doesn't have to be very obvious. Like, you're not holding his hand or arm and leaning your head on his chest. This is just a picture of you two. No, you want to introduce him through a group, meaning it'd be like you, him, a girl, and another guy. Because obviously that's pairing. The guy's going to look at that and be like, oh shit. And then you want to do that maybe once a week. And then the next week, you post another one with him in it. Again, with a group and things like that. And then you do it one more time, so you got 3 weeks, and then you delete them. Then you delete the ex or whoever. Now, because he's going to see those, obviously, because he's always liking your shit. He's going to see those, and he's going to feel the competition. Ladies, men, whether they like you or not, get jealous. Jealous is a defense mechanism, right? Evolutionary psychology. It's a defense mechanism that tells you, oh shit, the assets or advantages that I had are now threatened. So you might be like, well, what assets are, it's the access to you, okay? He might not be hitting it anymore, but he still has access to you. And like I said with number 1 and 2, he's not convinced that he lost you. But if another guy is fulfilling the role that he couldn't fill, then, and you have multiple pictures with this guy, and again, it's not obvious that you're talking to another guy because you're posting pictures with, in a group. So his mind's racing, he sees this. He doesn't want to lose those assets to another man. He gets jealous, and this guy might start reaching out more. This guy might start stepping up his game, but you want to delete him, and then hopefully he messages you through text, WhatsApp, whatever, okay? But that's how you do that. And lastly, you want to renegotiate the contract. So what is the contract? The contract is basically what you guys agreed upon based on what you're doing and saying. And sometimes you don't have to say anything in a contract. Actually, all the time, you don't have to say anything and the contract is created. So let me give you an example of that. Example of worded contracts are, hey, I'm looking for a relationship. What are you looking for? A relationship? Okay, cool. We're on the same page. A non-worded or non-verbal one would be, let's say you and I are friends with benefits, you're coming over, we're hanging out, having fun, hooking up, and then you're like, hey, Elliot, I want a relationship. And I'm like, well, of course, I'm the fucking shit. Whatever, I don't have that ego. But I tell you, hey, I like you a lot, I think you're great, I'm sorry, it's just not where I'm at right now. I like you, it's just not, yeah. And then, you might be upset, and then a couple days we don't talk, but then we end up picking up where we left off, and you're coming over, friends with benefits, we're hanging out, having fun, hooking up. I can only assume by your absence for a couple days and then coming back and hooking up with me, or we continuing our thing, that I should assume that you're okay with friends with benefits. You went away a couple days to think about it, you came back and you continued it. You're a grown-ass woman, okay? I should only assume that you're okay with that. That is the contract. You do not want to do that, ladies. Your actions, your standards, what you allow is very, 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 very important. If he comes back and you let him back in, like I said, this is why I tell you to get the no contact guide. If you let him back in right away, or you say the wrong thing, or you do the wrong thing when he returns, you renegotiated a contract, but it might not be in your favor. You have to do the right things. You have to say the right things. You have to have a standard. He cannot, ladies, he cannot pull some bullshit, then come back and talk his way in, okay? You cannot do that. He will not fear losing you. It goes all the way back to what I said with number 1 and number 2. You have to create a narrative, a frame where you are a high value, sought after woman. You like him, but I don't need you, bro. And you have to convince him that that's the case.